Hey, First Baptist Youth, it is great to be with you, at least through YouTube. I hope you're having a great week. We are going to continue looking at the parables of Jesus. We are coming down to the end of the parables we're going to study, and so we're going to look at the Gospel of Matthew. We're in chapter 21, verse 28, and Jesus says this, "What do you think? A man had two sons. He went to the first and said, 'Son, go and work in the vineyard today.' He answered, 'I will not.' But later he changed his mind and he went. The father went to the second son and said the same thing, and he answered, 'I will go, sir,' but ended up not going. Which of the two did the will of his father?" And his listeners said, "The first." And so Jesus stops here and he says to them, "Look, I tell you, there are other people going into heaven ahead of you," kind of giving his listeners a warning. Now, what in the world is Jesus talking about with this story? It's not about who gets into heaven first. It's not a race to get into heaven, or first or last or whatever. He's saying this, that sometimes people in the era Jesus was talking about, and we do this today too, right? We look at other people and maybe how they look or how they talk or what they're wearing. We make up assumptions about them. And there were people that were looked down upon in Jesus' day, and many thought, they wouldn't be chosen by God first or second or at all. And Jesus is saying, look, what matters is this. Boil it down to this. Are you believing in Jesus? Do you believe in what Jesus has done and dying on the cross and raising again and forgiving our sins? And are you following what is asked? What Jesus commands or asks of us? That's what matters. And so Jesus is making the point. Look, what matters is believing and doing the will of God. Boil it down to that. It doesn't matter how you look or how other people think of you, or it doesn't matter what social class you're in. What matters is following God with all of our heart, mind, soul, and strength, and also loving our neighbors as ourselves. And we have talked about that a number of times. But I want you to hear this parable from Jesus, that sometimes we can decide, well, I'm not as good, or maybe I should have, people should look at me differently. I wish I was more popular. And Jesus is saying, let's boil it all down here. What matters is that we follow God and obey those commands, and that is what God is looking for. So I hope you're having a great week. Know that we keep you in our prayers always, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.